Man's attitude toward nature is today critically important, simply because we have now acquired a fateful power to alter and to destroy nature. But man is part of nature, and his war against nature is inevitably a war against himself.
The modern environmentalist movement began with the voice of an individual speaking out against a multitude. Rachel Carson raised environmental awareness with her book, Silent Spring, which made a statement that shook the very foundations of man's outlook on nature. Opposed by industry, individuals, and circumstances, Rachel Carson prevailed in her stand against pesticides, which she called biocides. She referred to them as biocides because their killing power did not stop with pests, but instead threatened all of nature, including mankind.
Within years after her birth on May 27, 1907, Rachel Carson could often be found with her dogs and other animals roaming the beautiful landscapes that surrounded her family's homestead in Springdale, Pennsylvania. This passion for the natural world led Carson to pursue a career in biology. She earned a bachelor's degree in 1929 from the Pennsylvania College for Women in Pittsburgh and moved on to pursue graduate studies in zoology and genetics at Johns Hopkins University, earning her master's in 1932. At Hopkins and at the University of Maryland, Carson gave back by teaching zoology. In her personal life, Carson faced the difficulties of caring for her mother following her father's death in 1935, and for the daughters of her deceased sister and the son of her deceased niece as well. These responsibilities made the continuation of her doctoral studies at the Marine Biological Laboratories in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, impossible. She moved on to write radio scripts part-time for the Bureau of Fisheries, and, in 1936, Carson overcame sexism and sat for the civil service exam, outscoring all other applicants and becoming the second woman ever to be hired full-time by the U.S. Bureau of Fisheries. Carson also wrote numerous books, including Under the Sea Wind in 1941 and The Sea Around Us in 1951, as well as articles for newspapers and magazines. The great success of her works afforded her the opportunity to retire to full-time writing in 1952.
At this point in history, public trust for the government was strong and cynics were vilified. The Johnson and Nixon administrations had not yet shattered the idealistic mentality of the public with the catastrophic Vietnam War and the criminal Watergate scandal. This was also the age of McCarthyism, so the common American, in fear of government persecution, seldom spoke out against the government. As a result of the combination of idealistic public trust and cowering public fear, the government towered tall and mighty before any opposition. Additionally, chemical industries and other science-based industries went largely unchallenged as people deferred to their expertise.
The average person was just assuming that it wouldn't be available if it weren't safe.
With the government and the chemical industry on pedestals, opposition to Carson's work was expected. However, the world's idealistic view of miracle chemicals began to tear when, in late 1960 and into 1961, the drug thalidomide, used in Great Britain and in Germany, was found to cause severe birth defects and infant death when used by pregnant women to combat morning sickness. This event broke the assumption that the chemical industry would only release harmless, effective chemicals, setting the stage for the publication of Silent Spring.
In a letter written in January of 1958, Rachel Carson's friend, Olga Owens Huckins, told her of the deaths of many songbirds after the spraying of pesticides, notably DDT.
She was really quite a fine amateur ornithologist. When Olga Huckins calls her attention to the fact that the birds are dying because of this spraying, that hits home.
Carson realized that pesticides were harmful to the environment despite their much-touted benefits. With songbirds in particular, she found that due to biomagnification, few survived after pesticide spraying. Carson also noticed the loss of eagles, suggesting that the U.S. might soon need to find a new national symbol. It was later found that pesticides thinned their eggshells. With this massive loss of birds, the spring after pesticide spraying was a silent spring. Carson felt it her duty to take a stand against pesticides because of her great love of nature and humankind. This stand was embodied in the form of a history-changing book, Silent Spring, which Carson immediately began to write with passion and precision. What she thought would take only a few months to write turned into a 4-year project. Already weighed down by her meticulous writing habits and family responsibilities, Carson was also interrupted in 1960 when she received news that she had breast cancer and had to undergo surgery. She felt that it was so important that she made it her top priority to stand up and tell the world before her voice was gone.